Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So this is going to be the second video of the day. I want to jump straight into it. Talk about The Rock, right? The Rock recently has been honestly in the spotlight for quite a few months now. If you have not really paid attention to what's been going on with The Rock, there's currently what you could call an investigation of some sort. There's not only a scandal that's been going on with him, there's then the whole incident with the fires that have been going on the Hawaiian Islands. Him and Oprah essentially like begging for money with all the money that they have, so that gained a lot of heat. And then he randomly shows up in WWE SmackDown, and that's what I wanted to talk about and why I think this was a very strategic move from The Rock and the reason why he's doing this. So let's get into it. I am a big Rock fan, Dwayne Johnson. I'm just a big fan of his. I think growing up, obviously, I think if you're into wrestling, you know the impact that he's made on the company and just wrestling as a whole. He's also just a pop culture icon, right? People know him. If your name is The Rock, if you're named after literally a rock, you have to be a big name, big star. So we know him for who he is. I don't feel like I really need to explain too much about him, but what I do want to explain about is why it would be a strategic move for him to go into the WWE and make a really random appearance for no apparent reason, and why I think it's kind of not only smart, but I think people aren't really being aware of what's going on. So you have all these scandals that are going on. A lot of people are obviously tarnishing the name. We have cancel culture. And for The Rock, he was not only in one, but two big scandals that went on, right? So his name is kind of not doing well right now. So in your head, and I'm sure his publicist was and his agent were thinking, right, how can we somehow change the narrative with this? How can we turn what is going on from a negative to a positive, right? Where is a lot of your fan base? Where are people going to support you during this time? And that is WWE, right? The whole culture of it supports The Rock. So I think what happened was they decided to sit down, and I think they were trying to figure out a way to really, fix this issue. I think originally he was trying to help people with the fires, but I think that just became way overlooked with Oprah, that whole thing. Again, I'm not saying he's a bad person. I'm trying to, I guess, debrief about what I actually think is going on. So he then reaches out to the WWE. I think they sit down and they talk about, how can we make this a mutual partnership, right? I think with the new merger that is going on with the WWE, they obviously want to have a big star. They want someone to not only represent the company, but also bring some attention to it. That's why I think they had John Cena come back. That's why I think The Rock obviously came back suddenly to a WWE SmackDown, which I think is interesting. And I think not only does every time when he goes back to a venue, everyone goes crazy for him, but I think it changes the narrative. Okay, he's now back, and there's this massive fan base that's going to support him. He shows up to the venue, crowd goes insane, makes a comment on X, pretty much saying, this was like the craziest crowd, most electrifying crowd, honestly, I've like ever been in. Again, I think he is trying to just appeal to the fan base that, how much he cares about them. And again, I'm not saying he's like not a truthful person. I do think all of his intentions are genuine. I think he's a smart businessman, but I think at the end of the day, he does have a good heart. But I do think this was strategic in the sense where he's trying to save his image, his branding image, that he's a good person. And I think the reason why he did this is to get that attention away from what else was going on and to solidify why he's a good person, why he's back in the WWE. Now, what I want to talk about is what's going to be the plan moving forward for him, right? Is he going to be in WrestleMania? There's so many things that could happen, but I think currently right now, the main reason why he's showing his face is because he's trying to get the attention away from that. And there's nothing wrong with it, but I think there's some strategicness with it. Now, why would it be mutual for the WWE to do this? I personally don't think their current roster, I don't think their current talent is at a point where it is really at a peak. I think it's been upwards in terms of like their content, but I don't think we're anywhere near to what WWE used to be, and I think that's fine, and I think it's going to be different, but I currently don't think it's super interesting to watch. Um, but there's now something interesting to think about, and it is this whole kind of concept with not only the tribal chief, right? The tribal chief, Paul Heyman, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, Roman Reigns. Now you have someone who somewhere fits into this whole story is The Rock, right? And I think what the plan eventually will be is to have The Rock go up against Roman Reigns. I'm saying it now, I'm predicting it. I think there is going to be a match to prove who is the real tribal chief. And I think this has been not only part of the storyline, but I think this is going to be one of those kind of arcs that we see to reach Roman Reigns' status. Now, I don't think The Rock is someone that would ever, like, they would never have their name tarnished. I don't think the WWE would ever do that. I still completely disagree with what happened with The Undertaker. It upsets me to this day. But I think with him, it's going to be an interesting matchup to see. I think WWE is always thinking ahead, always thinking months and months, maybe possibly years forward into the future, how to plan, what to plan for, who to have. I think The Rock currently right now is making the best steps forward to save his image. If I were him, I would probably stay out of making movies currently right now and stick with the WWE where he has that massive fan base. He can get away from the negativity. And honestly, within the next like 6 months or so, people are going to forget about what happened, just like everything else in the news. So yeah, I think what The Rock is doing is smart. And I'm hoping that not only he can help the WWE possibly in some type of way, but, fix his reputation. Cancel culture is going on everywhere, and if you're going to attack The Rock, you better be ready for the WWE fan base. And lastly, I think just with the new merger, I think it's just a smart move to have your best talent, your biggest names representing your company. I find it funny that for the UFC now, Sean Strickland is the champ. I think that's interesting, just kind of how that unfolded. I don't think the plan, or I guess the hope, was to have him be champion. I find that interesting now. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, but I just wanted to talk, give that opinion. Let me know what you guys think. Was it a strategic move for him to do that? Do you think there's more to it? Do you have a different opinion? I always like hearing that. So thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. And see you in the next video. Peace out. Bye.